Welcome to The Creatives, RadioNow's entertainment talk show. My name is Doris Okorie. You'll be listening to us every Friday at 8 p.m. on RadioNow 95.3 FM and also on our other platforms on our website, www.thisisradionow.com, on Facebook, facebook.com/thisisradionow, and on YouTube, Radio Now Studio. Today in the studio, I have a very interesting guest. As always, I am super excited about this one. I have with me in the studio a Nigerian filmmaker, actor, screenwriter, director, and producer. He has an exceptional interest in impacting life with the use of visuals. If you love everything about movies, you should definitely stick around for this one. You're tuned into The Creatives on Radio Now 95.3 FM. My name is Doris Okorie. Let's go on a quick break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're tuning to The Creatives on Radio Now 95.3 FM. My name is Doris Okorie. I have with me in the studio a filmmaker who has a special eye for creative filmmaking. He's directed projects such as the action sequence for King of Boys 2, Her, Grown Up or Not, Damage Done, which he also produced alongside Found Daddy. As an actor, he has featured in projects such as Riona, Everything Scatter, King of Boys, and the list goes on and on. Welcome, Jide JBlaze Oyegbile. Thank you so much, JBlaze, for coming through. Why JBlaze, first of all?
Why JBlaze? I don't know.
Why?
It just sounded cool when I came up with the name in university.
Also, it was a uni thing, not even when you entered,
It was a uni thing. It was associated more with my music at that point in time.
Oh, you did music?
Film, yeah.
Music for film or music in isolation?
Music.
Music.
Yeah.
Oh, great stuff. Okay, so you do a lot in the industry. You're an actor, you're a filmmaker, which is, producing, directing, and writing, right? How are you able to combine, doing all of this?
I honestly just go where the vibe is and where the money is at that particular point in time. Yeah.
Period. So if the money is say, JBlaze will come and write script for us 1.25 million.
So I mean, honestly speaking, writing is not at the top. It is usually acting, directing that's at the top. Okay. Writing is quite spiritual for me in quotes here, because for me to write something, I always want to be a part of it. It takes a lot for me to write.
Okay.
And writing commercially for people is not necessarily my go-to thing, except I am probably going to direct the project and we're in sync, and there's just something about the project that makes me want to write it, because I feel like maybe another writer will be able to give me what I have in my head.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so as an actor, and sometimes you write, say for instance, you write a project and you want to obviously feature in it and maybe direct and produce it. Run us through your day-to-day activities during the pre-production, the production, and then the post-production.
That is quite difficult. It's subjective. I think it depends on the project. It depends on the personality of who I'm making the film for. For example, if I'm not the executive producer and there's executive producer and executive producer that want me to produce the film, direct, sometimes act in it, I always want to know what the story is about. Right now, with my experience, I tell everyone that your story has to be audacious enough for me, because we have gone beyond the stage of basically putting just a story out that passes a message. It has to be audacious. The storytelling has to be really deep, right? If I'm going to watch something in the cinema or online, I'm watching it to be entertained. I'm watching it to see things that I naturally wouldn't see on the road. So why just write a scene where, these people are talking and they laugh and then the food is not sweet and that's it? I'm like, right. I saw a film recently where two big names withheld, and one refuses the other one to marry his daughter, and the guy is sad. And in my head, I'm like, if I'm going to do this scene myself, I'll shoot it myself. I'll make this guy insult this person.
Okay.
This person is big in the industry, right? They are both big in the industry. Because of that scene, I might want to go watch the film. I want to know why this person is talking to this person this way. Even if it is his thought process. And then it comes back to reality. And in reality, he's saying, okay, so I'll try and look for money to get, to pay for your bride price, your daughter's bride price, and the rest you get. So the story has to be audacious enough right now. Before it was just money, trying to build your name and the rest. But right now, story has to be audacious. Location recce, we have to go to see the location and make sure that it makes sense. Because no matter how much you get, if you like get the biggest actors that know how to act, right? If the location, the costume does not fit for their role, they're not going to deliver. They will look like idiots on screen. So location has to make sense for me. Then getting the right actors, trying to find a balance within, because most times when you want to cast actor, you're thinking of PR, you're thinking of this person has numbers, this and that. So right now, I'm trying to find a balance within knowing how to act and that. The good thing is we're having more platforms that are interested in quality than quantity. They don't necessarily care about your numbers. They care about the quality of the film. And because of that, you can get to cast actors that know what they're doing now. So now you cast good actors, you come on set, have adequate time to shoot, which is always difficult because of budget. But the best way to make that happen is make sure that your pre-production is tight, and then you film on set. Most times when I act, or I'm acting the project, it saves me time. Because, and then it reduces the fact that I can't predict things if I'm waiting for someone else. So on the spot, I'm already saying, okay, if I take this role, I won't have to wait for this person, this person, this person. And I know how to differentiate when I'm doing all of this. Make sure I have a good AD. I already have my shot list and everything. So it's just easy, breezy. Quick, fast, it's like, fast, let's go, let's shoot it. Let's do it. And then depending on the budget, the project, it's like, okay, this is fine, let's shoot it and let's go. So I do the acting thing, and I'm very big on post-production. A couple of people are not necessarily in post-production, but I save a lot of things in my film in post-production. So when I'm filming on set, I'm like, don't worry, let's go. Because I know that I'm going to be involved in post-production. I'm going to see it. And I will know what to remove and how to either scale in here, remove this one. Oh, light is showing, forget about it, just shoot, let's go. I'll scale in and take it out. I'm shooting 6K, I'm going to export 4K. So many things like that are very important for me. So a lot of all this knowledge come into play into how I make films, either for myself or for people. I just want to know where you want me to come in. And even on set, because of the way I try to acquire knowledge a lot online and from my friends, I tend to be able to do almost everything. If my DP is late, I'm shooting already. Period. If the light guy is late, I'm going to set light. All of this knowledge have really helped me get to where I am today, and just bring the project, and then I know exactly where I fit in. What to do.
So you have a degree, a BSc rather, in anatomy, and a second degree in medicine and surgery. How did you go from medicine and surgery, anatomy to filmmaking?
I have been acting since I was 7, and that's roughly at least 20 plus years ago, right? And I decided that for job security, you need to do something that makes sense. And for me, it was medicine. I like challenging things. I love, it's not that I loved medicine, it's I love medicine, actually. The thrill of saving lives is very interesting, giving people a second chance. And I decided, look, I could do medicine and still be a filmmaker. But it's difficult to be a filmmaker and be a doctor. And at the same time, the knowledge from medicine is very important for me, because now I can get to write a medical series. I can get to write, play roles. I've played doctor roles severally, and you watch and you're like, this person, he has to be a doctor, because it's easy. It's difficult to play a doctor role because you have to be very sensitive and don't say the wrong thing, except it's determined by the script. Because so many scripts I read, and I see the lines, I'm like, nah, a doctor's not going to say this. And then most of the information is either vague. You just say, the patient is sick. The doctor will tell you what's wrong with the patient. And that's just because maybe a couple of people will not do enough research and the rest. So, but then, that's where my knowledge comes into play, and that's really what it is. So yeah, it was never a thing of leave and come. It has always been there. I made my first film in 2014. And I was still in medical school, my first feature-length film.
Oh, wow. That's interesting to know. Okay, so, we've talked about you being a screenwriter and an actor, producer, and director, especially, acting and producing. And you made mention of certain things that you would have done when watching a particular movie earlier. What can you say about the type of content that is being churned out in Nollywood?
I think that right now we are beginning to get audacious, but I feel like when I watch a film, there's a lot of restrictions, and it probably will come from how it was written. And how it was written was also probably determined by the budget. They're already telling the writer, look, we don't get money. Make sure say
everything like before
4 scenes, before locations, and the rest. So that might limit the creativity of the writer. But then you need to dig deep to create audacious scenes even within those few locations, which most of them don't. And sometimes if you ask, it might be because you hear statement like, how much are they paying me? I beg, let me just write this thing and let it go. So, but when you see films like, I mean, there are films on streaming platform now that are doing very well. Part of why they are doing very well is because they are breaking the norm. They are not necessarily thinking of what the society will say. They are now beginning to do themselves. They want to speak their mind. And films that are going to cross boundaries are going to be films that writers, producers, directors decided to speak their mind and not necessarily what the society wants. Just speaking their mind. And that's what it is.
Okay. So what is your creative process like as an actor or director?
For me, for both of them, it's different. As an actor, when I get a script, I always want to know what the character Bible is. The character Bible is very important for me because that tells me the journey of this character. Where was he born? What school did he attend? Did he at any point in time go to a public school and then now he's in private school? What kind of friends does he have? Has he lost someone before? When I know all of these ones, it's going to help me determine how this actor reacts in different situations. Right? And these are things that the writer may not necessarily have written out for that scene. But for example, if this person has lost someone before and in a scene, someone is dead, the way he's going to react will be different from if he has never lost anyone before. So all of these informations are very vital for me as an actor. I do my research. If he's a lawyer, if he's a doctor, if he's an engineer, I go online, I start watching what they do. I try to go on sites to see what's going on with this person. How do they reason? So many times when I'm in an environment, I study a lot. I'm looking at people, how they're reacting, how they're talking. And I think this time I was telling one of my friends, we had a scene. It was a controversial scene, and it was pretty much like, nah, people won't respond like this. Unfortunately for him, we were in a scene where that exact thing happened. I said, look, see as it is. Because the guy was reacting, it was over the top. But we felt like in the scene, no, you shouldn't do that. But in reality, we're seeing someone that is in that exact situation. I was reacting about it. I'm like, yeah, it works. It still makes sense, right? So studying the environment helps for me. Breaking down the character, knowing I don't just read. The actors that read
just your
scenes,
lines,
right? I don't read just my scenes. I don't read just my lines. I read the whole script. And for any scene, the most important lines are not actually my lines. They are the lines of my co-actors.
I agree.
Because those are what suggest why I'm saying something or what I'm going to say. So most times when we're reading, when you say something, I may not need to look at my script again because I read what you were saying. I understood what you were saying and I'm reacting to what you're saying. Do you understand? And that's what I do with acting. Sometimes on set, I like to take time alone. I really love to digest my script, digest my lines. I will probably be in my car reading and come out. I'm not going to be smiling with you, especially if I'm a character, especially if it's a serious character, right? And I see how people, it's very funny because you're on set and you see this actor that is just lost his dad and they said action and he or she's crying and they say cut and he's not laughing. I'm like, wait, were you in character at all?
Right.
Like, how do you just switch from this to this except you are emotionally damaged?
Right, and you can just bring it from somewhere.
And you're no longer human. It takes a lot mentally. And even after set, you would realize that for a couple of days, you're still the character, especially if it's one that you actually delved in for a long period of time. There's a film, hopefully coming to stream very soon, where I played a role and I had to tint my hair and everything. And immediately I was done with the set, I had a photo shoot the next day. I literally was walking. The photographer was like, no, stay like this. I'm like, guy, you know if you understand, I've not left. This character is still in me. So the way I walk was still the same. So it took me like 2-3 days to adapt and change the way I walk again. And that's what it does. That's what acting does to you. Once you're in connection with the character, once you become the character, it's a bit difficult to leave that character, especially if you are intentional about it and you deliver appropriately. But for directing is, so what I do with directing is more or less, I take film as an art piece, right? And when I'm directing, there's a total picture that I am seeing that I do not expect every other person to see. But I know exactly how you're going to fit into that picture. So I'm looking at you, I know your character Bible, and in all honesty, I tell people, a director is not going to know the character as much as the actor, because it's the actor that is living the characters. The director knows the bits and pieces of these characters that fit into this big puzzle. And when I'm there, I'm like, okay, so what you're doing right now does not work. It doesn't mean the character is not going to do that. But if the character does this, the total picture is not going to look okay.
Right.
So we need to either cop down on this, and what are the other options this character will do in such a situation? Because as a human being, you have several options to react to. You don't react just one way. So you don't come and say, oh, this character is going to be this. My question is, can this character also be this? If the answer is yes, then let's do this because it fits into the total picture. I'm always in sync with you as an actor, and that's the advantage comes from the fact that I'm also an actor and I exactly probably know what you're going through. I tell my crew member like, oh, it's an emotional scene, just leave it alone. Even if we're rushing, there are scenes where I'm telling you, let's go. There are scenes I'm like, guys, just 1 minute. Let this person have time to digest what he or she wants to do because it's not something you can rush. The places that you can rush, I will let you know. And there are places where on set, especially because of budget, there's days you shoot like 10 scenes, and there's some film production you shoot like 2 scenes. When I'm shooting 10 scenes, I'm already prioritizing. In all of these 10 scenes, which one of them has a strong emotional arc? In the totality of the story, which one of these scenes do I need to take my time? Is it an action sequence that will take my time? I'm already partitioning like, okay, this 6 hours for this scene. This scene, I'm probably going to do 30 minutes. If they're ready and they're changing, I can do 30 minutes. I might just decide to do like a two shot, and I'll tell you that in post, I'm going to start scaling in. I will save it in post. And then most times when an actor, like I have a film that's going to come out, and we were done with the scene, and she was like, she's not sure she did okay. I said, it's fine. Because what you're bothered about is what I'm going to fix in post.
Right.
Most editors don't necessarily understand that you can either make or mar an actor from how you edit a film. You can, if this actor is giving you enough reactions and you're not cutting to the necessary reactions, you feel like, oh, this actor didn't even react to this thing. But on set, this actor was reacting so many times. Right. And I've seen scenes where I'm cutting and the actor did not exactly react to what this guy was saying at that point in time. But she gave the same reaction for something similar in the same scene. All I did was I cut the reaction from that other place and bring it there. In reality, you're going to think that's what she was doing at that point in time, but that's not what it is. It is me making you as good as I can make you look eventually, because the totality of the film is going to have my name.
Right.
So I already tell you as an actor, just trust me. The only time you should be bothered is if I genuinely don't have time for post-production. Or if I'm just coming on board, I'm like, okay, let's just do this. Okay, it's fine. Okay, let's go. But if I tell you, all you have to do is trust me, then you're fine. You're probably good. If you're giving me stuff that doesn't work, I'm going to tell you on set, it's not working. You have to give me something else.
Yeah.
But if it's something I can work with, even though you think you're not good, I'm fine. I'm good. Let's go.
Okay. Well, you'd hear crazy things always happen on set. Like, I have a truckload of crazy things that my guests have said. So I'm going to be asking you, what is the craziest thing that has ever happened to you whilst you're on set, either as an actor or a producer or a director?
Craziest thing.
Wild.
Mado. Because so maybe crazy is quite subjective. Well, maybe I just scan through. I know there was a time we were filming, so as a director filming this stand-up that was in cinema, and this is RMD's first scene in Warri. That's my first time in Warri also, and we're set. It's a burial scene, so that means crowd, and everything is tight. People are moving up and down. Oh, okay, RMD. They're like, hey, that's nice. Let's shoot. Let's get things done. And I'm speaking to him, and I'm like, oh, so your this character. We're discussing the character, and RMD came prepared. He was already telling me the mannerisms he had planned for the characters and things that on a normal day you probably be thinking, oh, okay, probably will just come and flex. But he was ready for the scene.
Right.
And then we started shooting, and we had done all the B-rolls. We done the white that doesn't have him in it, etc. So it was just to do the inserts of RMD, and rain started falling. And it's kind of saying that if you don't shoot it then, you have to shoot on that day. Genuinely speaking, that was RMD's introduction into the film. If he comes in when the rain is falling, it's going to be stronger. And that's not something we would have planned. I mean, we could plan it, but it was going to be a lot of logistics, and then talking about the reality of the rain and the etc. and the rest. And then like I'm just like, yeah, let's go now. You can shoot it. Let's go. And I'm like,
in the rain.
okay, yeah. So you can shoot it. Let's go. And every other person was there because if IMD is okay with shooting in the rain, then what's your excuse anymore?
Right.
So we really had to protect the cameras and all, and yeah, and we filmed it. For me, that was interesting, but it was still crazy because that was the first time I was working with IMD as a director, and he has reasons to probably doubt the process.
Right.
But he decided to go along with it
and just trust it.
You know,
Wow.
right? That's as a director, as an actor, crazy. I think every day is almost crazy in Hollywood as an actor because most times productions are they don't. I don't want to say they don't know what they are doing.
Or it's just a bit. It's so disorganized. You're like, what is this?
It is so disorganized, and it's painful because I know what happens behind the camera, and I know how they can fix this.
Right.
And I know that on my own set, I get to fix these things already. So you really can fix this. I have been on set for hours without filming, and it's crazy for me because as an actor, when I'm coming to your set, I'm very big on timing. If you give me time, I'll most likely be there before you most times.
Yeah.
But I don't need to pressure you until the time you gave me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's that time and nothing is happening, then for me that's where the problem starts.
Right.
And it's happened before where I'm on a set and 6-7 hours we didn't film anything, and I'm like, what are we doing? Now you want to bring me on set to film a day scene at night when you lost all daylight. I'm like, and you expect me to be fully in character, to be awake. Lines were just going up and down.
Yikes.
I said, okay, let's do it. So, I mean, stuff like that happen a lot, like a whole lot of times. And there's always one crazy thing or the other. Either Agbero will come to set to disturb
Right.
you. Or, I mean, there was one time that Agbero came and Mopo slapped the Agbero. I was so happy. Yeah, because and I keep asking my guys, is there a way to fix this Agbero problem? It's an independent filmmaker. They come and set and they don't care how much you're using to make the film. They believe it's film, you're making money, and they want to disturb yourself. They want to collect money, and even the learned ones that are being smart in code. No, you cannot film on our street. You need to go somewhere else, and you are going inside your house to put on the television to watch film. How do you think those films are done?
Right.
It's ridiculous. I think Nollywood is just crazy generally.
Is it crazy? So you, in your own words, you can say that, because my next question is going to be, what are the challenges you face as a filmmaker? So you've already mentioned, the street urchins, the agberos on the street.
Yeah, I mean that's
basic.
Everybody, like, if you are making a film, you create a budget for agberos because if you don't do that, you're in trouble. You have to create a budget for agbero. Though what I've started doing is I look for a way to infuse them in the film. So if it's a scene that I need crowd, I already know that agberos are going to come that day. So we're telling them, okay, I'm gonna show for the film. I'm paying you the money. I'll probably pay extras in that scene too.
Right.
So I'm not losing so much.
That's smart.
And they will give you so much energy. In fact, they're happy that they're in front of the camera. Just don't look at the cameras. Thank you.
Smart.
Just be part of the extras and stay there. And then I'm sorting you. I mean, there was time that we were doing a scene where there was a flat tire. One guy came and was like, "No, what's I do?" Say, "Baba, you go change the tire. We'll go shoot." I knew someone would come. It was impossible for them not to come. And the guy changed the tire in the scene. We don't even need to see his face, but we need to see that someone was changing the tire. He changed the tire, we were filming, we were done, and then I sorted him out. And it was obviously enough because that was what we were going to pay an extra. So it was enough for him, and then, yeah, it's gone.
JBlaze, sorry, I need to pause and slow clap. Because this is I've learned something today. Use the agberos in your film.
Yeah.
And then pay. That's a very smart one.
Because in the first place, if you're shooting an exterior scene, most likely
they must come.
Normally.
They will definitely come.
So they'll probably fit into that scenario somehow.
Okay.
So I'm going to add you to my scene. It increases value for my scene.
Period. Okay, so what other challenges, the filmmakers face?
Everybody's always going to say money. But I feel like money challenge is whenever you have a budget, just work to the budget.
Right.
Face your reality. The mistake people will make is you have a budget of like 10 million and you're planning to shoot a film of 30 million. Then you say there's a money challenge. So right now, when people bring projects to me, I'm like, what is your budget? I'm not being insultive. I'm not trying to extort you. But when I know your budget, I would guide you appropriately. I'll tell you, from your budget, I'm seeing your script. And I'm telling you immediately that this thing will not work. Or I'm telling you how it's going to work. Do you get? I'm like, okay, let's see if we can shoot with one camera. If you shoot with one camera, I need just one DP. You don't need to pay a second DP. You don't need to pay a second camera. But then you're going to give me more mental work because I have to do pre-production, have my shot list. So I'm just going snappy. Because most times as an actor, you also don't like when they're wasting your time. You shoot this one, then you come and shoot this other shot, then you take this other shot. But truth be told, if you actually want to get crazy images, you probably will get sweet images with one camera than with two cameras. And like there's my film that I made, someone was asking why did I use one camera. I said, look, it's a very intimate film. And because of the intimacy of the scenes, I can't use two cameras. If I use two cameras, the cameras can't be so close to the subject because it's going to be seeing the other camera. So using two cameras for me was actually going to be a waste. One camera is fine, be close to the subject, so that when you're watching the film, you would feel like you are in that scene. So the budget also determines, but at the same time, the story is also very important. So everybody's always saying budgets is, we all agree, definitely. If we have the kind of budget that Hollywood has, we probably will be making good enough films like them, to be honest. So there's budget. There is actor irresponsibilities. There are a lot of actors that are not responsible.
Drag them. I like it.
No, that's the truth. I'm an actor, so that's the truth.
Drag them.
Except they want to deny it, it is actually out there. A lot of actors are not responsible. A lot of actors don't know what they are doing. And most of them will tell you, which understandably so, is probably from their experience too. But I don't think that should change you, because when you go to the set, they give you a call time of 8 a.m. You don't film that day till 4 p.m. The next day, you give you 8 a.m. You don't film till like 2 p.m. The next day, they give you 8 a.m. They genuinely won't come by 8 a.m.
Right.
Because they feel like you're not going to film till 4 p.m.
Or 10.
But now, what if, for once, production decided to change and say, you know what, this day will be up to tight. We are sorry we kept you late, but we're going to film 8 a.m. now. Now you don't come 8 a.m. And you now come like 2 p.m. and they've lost hours. They probably lost a location that they've paid for and they can't use, right? And maybe as an actor, you come to set, you're not prepared. I've seen sets where they give the actor, they're telling the actor the scene number, they're explaining to him what's happening in the scene and what has happened before and after, because he hasn't read your script. He's just coming from on that sense, like, okay, so what's there? Oh, this is, and he's playing lead, and he will play lead, and that's it. And for each scene he's filming, you will keep explaining to him, so this is what happened before, and this is what happens after.
So how would he work with dialogue?
Because, no, dialogue, you read it now. You read the dialogue for the scene.
So that means...
But, you know, when you're saying some things in the scene, you need to know why this actor is saying this, right? But in this situation, he hasn't read anything. So Baba is like, okay, so what's up? Okay, that's what, okay, that's what I get, yeah, let's shoot.
Right.
And you're like, how? And this situation happens where maybe in coach you want to get a big actor that's very busy. You don't have his pay, and he's looking for a way to squeeze you into his own thing. Yeah. He's not going to take you as priority. He may not get to read your script per se. He will just ask for the synopsis. Okay, that's I get. Oh, make I just do alright, I'll be flash you, and then on set. Other challenges that you have production wise, actor, director, everything is costume. I don't think we have a lot of costume managers that know what they're doing. Most times, in fact, they ask for, it has happened several times, they're going to ask for your measurements, you get on set, all the clothes are never yours. It's not your size. In fact, I used to tell them, whenever you ask for measurements, you're only asking so that you have an excuse not to have my size in case I don't have my measurement. So if I send it to you late, you say, oh, you sent it late. If I sent it to you, if I didn't send it to you, you say you didn't send it. As you're asking, I'm just copying and pasting and I'm dumping it on you. So when I get on set most times, the costumes are never my size. So it's one thing to have a size issue. It's another thing for the costume to be believable. Most of the time, the costumes are not even believable. So how do you expect this person to deliver? You're saying, oh, come and act like...
your boss babe.
Do you understand?
And the person's just wearing clothes
and you're wearing clothes that you know that this clothes, you know in your heart of hearts, it is 500 naira or it is 800 naira.
Right, it's not even ironed properly.
How, do you understand? How exactly would you deliver?
Right.
Because you don't believe what you're putting on. And what you're putting on is supposed to help you become that character. You don't even believe the space you're in. Oh, this person's a billionaire. And you're looking around and you're like, hey, God.
Where?
So when you're now talking money talks, you're going to look stupid. So you're first trying, I'm telling you, you're first trying to balance the reality in your head. You tell us, okay, so I'll sign you a check of 30 million.
And your suit is not suiting.
Do you understand? There's this rough thing. There's really, it's rough and whoever is watching you already, especially if you know what you're doing as an actor, you know that you're looking like a fool. Do you get? And there's a time where I was going to get costumes. I'll just put it at the back of my car, like different kind of costumes, so that you don't, in quotes, embarrass me as an actor. It will also help me become my character to see. But there was a day I went to the set and I said, this set, no. Whatever they give me, I'm going to use. I said no matter what it is. And honestly speaking, as I thought exactly, they gave me rubbish.
Yikes.
The trouser was so fat. and I was in the scene with on Femi Branch, and he just looked down. He was throughout the scene when we were sitting in white. He was just looking at my trousers. And when we were done, he was like, he said, Jay, no be you get this trouser. I said, no. He said, hey, he said, he just look at since. He said, now wow. I said, look, they asked for my measurements, which I did give them, and this is what they're giving me. All I'm doing instead now is, luckily for them, I was supposed to be like the assistant to the boss. So he's just moving around the team up and down. I created the character for the assistant in my head already. Okay, does he have money? They also anything they give him, they get. Maybe even the clothes where they wear, say maybe he get him. I just created a different persona for the guy, and I'm like, I'm gonna go with this, but that I'm gonna bring my clothes after I send you measurements, and you're not keeping track. Sometimes you go home, use some of your things, and they're not even sending you a message to remind you that please bring this
back.
And then you get to say that you see customer telling you, so that thing I used, you didn't bring
now.
it. And like, are you okay? You didn't even send me a message. First, it is not your right? And I mean, for upcoming actors, I get why we might want to bring costumes and stuff to set, but truth be told is, you're not even supposed to bring them. So if you agree, so what's supposed to happen is, a costumer sending you a message, and most times they check you. They tell you, so bring 10 shirts for one scene. They tell you bring 10 shirts, 10 trousers, and you're like, why? But if you're upcoming, you don't know, because you're excited about being on set. You're already bringing all of these things to start with. When you could easily message, it's a sin. First and foremost, they're supposed to provide the costume. So you send a message. I understand you may not have costumes for me, or you might have a budget issue or challenge. I would help you bring what I get, and then I'll probably send you a picture and say, this is what I have, this is what I have. Which one of them works for your color palette? Because in fact, so that's even if costume knows what color palette is. I swear to God, it's so
you
confusing.
Look stressed.
No, so there's a lot of things going on that is not making it work. And I don't like people saying that it's just budget or it's production. It's all round. It's both behind the scene and in front of the camera. Every single department, a lot of departments are not competent enough. And people are not necessarily ready to do research. People like to be lied to. If I make a project that it does not make sense, before you tell me what's wrong with the project, I've already told myself, and I know I'm going to fix it in my next project. I know I'm going to get better with it. Nobody's perfect. I've done films and I'm like, God. Now wow.
Me say I no try.
Do you understand? And the truth is, at that point in time, you are probably thinking, oh my, this is mad. If you watch any of your projects, whether it's an actor or a director or whatever it is, that you did 3 years ago, and you don't feel a bit embarrassed, then there's a problem, because it means you've not necessarily grown. The moment you grew, you start to realize that, maybe you did this thing, you were shouting like a madman. I just realized that if I just said, shut up, people will respect you more. Without having, do you understand?
Yeah.
You're like, boom. I'm like, come on. So all of these stuff, like, everyone is part of the problem.
Right.
Everyone. Actors, crew. You see actors that don't know what monologues are, or show reels are, or headshots are, or lookbook, nothing. Hey, please help me, I want to be an actor. Bro, I'm looking at your page, I'm only seeing you chilling in maybe a hotel, you're driving this car. There's nothing that looks or makes me believe that you're an actor in the first place. You're not willing to put yourself out there. You're not willing to invest in yourself, and you want someone else to invest in you. That's just ridiculous. That's the truth, because I'm looking at you, I'm saying, okay, even you cannot invest in yourself, so why should I invest in you? Why should I put you in my film? And as it stands now in Nollywood, people need to understand that film is actually a business. And you should be okay if they don't put you in their project.
Right.
Because are you going to give them the money back? Are you going to make that money for them? I don't know how many actors we have now that if you put on the poster, they will guarantee you 30 million. I don't know anyone. Genuinely speaking. Not their own production. You're making a production, independent production, and you put this person on the poster. And you say, because this person is on my poster and is on my film, I'll make 30 million. But then you come on set and maybe they ask you how much you want to get paid. And you see why production is telling you they may not be able to pay you this right now. But you're thinking, no, you will make money. You will not, your face is not what is bringing the money in cinema. Nobody understands cinema business fully yet. But the truth is, we don't necessarily have enough bankable actors yet. And actors are not working to become bankable. People that are smart, I like guys like Timini. Boys know how they are becoming influencers, so that as an influencer, you can also become bankable as an actor. Now, as an actor, you are coming and say, oh, you sabi act. But then, they're not putting you in films. It's not just that. If they put you in the film, as a business, does it make sense? Forget about just the quality. Quality-wise, we get streaming platform and the rest, but as a business too, does it make sense? So the project also determines, they're making a cinema film, they may not put you in the cinema film because they don't think you will make money for them. But if this film is going to a streaming platform, they might decide to put you there because irrespective of your status or your influencing status, they would still make their money once you deliver on your acting role.
Yeah.
So as much as you're honoring your skills as an actor, then obviously, especially if you know you want to be involved in the commercial aspect of film, you need to build your influencing brand. You need to be able to influence a film that you're a part of. You need to be able to draw people to watch the film, which is the most important thing for any business person that is making film. There's nobody, no filmmaker that would see you and know that once I put you in my film, if it's on YouTube, I'll get 1 million views. If it's on cinema, I'm going to get 10 million. I don't even need too much, maybe 10 million. They will constantly put you in the film.
Right.
Constantly, because business-wise, it makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're tuning to the Creatives on Radio Now 95.3 FM. My name is Doris Okorie, and I have with me in the studio Jide JBlaze Oyegbile, actor, screenwriter, producer, and director. Let's go on a quick break, and we'll be right back. Do not touch that dial. Welcome back. You're tuned into the Creatives on Radio Now 95.3 FM. My name is Doris Okorie, and I have with me in the studio Jide JBlaze Oyegbile, actor, screenwriter, producer, and director. So, JBlaze, people are of the opinion that film mirrors, the society. In your own words, how can you say that film mirrors the society?
I mean, it depends on the film. I think that when you're making a film, you have to decide what you're doing. Are you trying to make a replica of reality, or are you trying to entertain? Or are you trying to teach a lesson?
Okay.
You can decide to make a film that has no business with what is going on in reality. In fact, it's totally unbelievable, but it is entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're going to get a certain audience that will tell you, if I want to see reality, I can sit in front of my shop, I can sit in front of my house. I'm going to the cinema to watch what I don't see, which may not be reality. I mean, it's an aspect of film, right? And that's part of it. Something could have happened and you also do a biopic about it, or you just decide to make a film about what has happened also. Or you're doing a film about what is happening, or at the same time, based on what is happening and statistics, you decide to do a futuristic film and say, based on this is what it's going to look like, which also makes sense. But film, when you watch a film, I think people should not just judge a film by, is it real? You need to ask, where are they coming from? Are they just trying to entertain you? They could decide to make a film to entertain you, and that's it. And it makes total sense. And they could decide to just do a film to teach you a lesson from reality, and it still makes sense. That's why it's the creative industry is very subjective.
Okay, so I'm about to put you on the spot here because you do a lot in the film industry. So I'm about to put you on the spot just a little bit. So it's a game actually. It's either or.
Either or.
Yes.
Okay.
So put you on the spot. Which do you prefer, acting or producing?
Acting.
Writing or directing?
Directing.
Allow me land now.
Directing, anytime, any day. Writing is a chore. And it's very spiritual for me. It takes so much time.
Right.
It takes a lot from me. And most importantly, if I write, except I get to direct it or produce the film, then it makes more sense for me. But if I write and just give it to someone, I'm like,
and it will stress you.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so feature films or television?
I think it's still subjective. Maybe feature films.
Okay, so should we be looking out for any new projects in the pipelines or?
I mean, yeah, I have. As director, I'm working on the docu series.
Okay.
That has to do with a very interesting part of life. It has to do with night vibes. People involved in night vibes.
Right.
I can't say too much about that, but it's a very interesting project. I also made a film, Damage Done. Damage Done is coming soon, and genuinely, I think it is. I mean, that's obviously my biggest film, not just in terms of money spent, but in terms of the audaciousness of the story and people's reaction to the story is going to be very vital and important for me. So Damage Done is coming. As an actor, I did something with Jide that should come out soon. One time, I did something with back in day. I did something. There's one very big project coming.
NDAs are just blocking your throat,
yeah,
basically.
exactly.
I know. I got you.
So there are a couple of things that are coming, but the one I can easily speak about right now is Damage Done because I have total control over that.
Okay.
And I think that Damage Done is going to be sick.
Okay. I cannot wait for that one. So, as somebody who has been in the industry for a while now, I mean, you said you started when you were 7. What advice can you give to upcoming actors or filmmakers?
I mean, for actors, what you need to know that what works for A may not work for B, and you need to create your part. So far, you're going to realize that a lot of people have not necessarily said, "Oh, as an actor, do this, do that, do this," because it is not straightforward. It's not straightforward, and at the very least, what you need to do as an actor is look at the actors that you believe you want to become or you want to look like. What are they doing? Can you replicate some of these things? Would it work for you? Try your hands on different things. Know what acting tools are, monologues, showreels, lookbooks. Get into as much as possible as an actor. And at the same time, learn something that you can do behind the screen so that you're always going to be on set.
Right.
Because generally it's not going to be easy. If you have family members that are supporting you, very good for you. At least that way financially you're okay to an extent, because before you start making money as an actor is going to be difficult. Right. Very difficult. And do research. Learn, do monologues, learn, and get better at what you do. That way they will always look for you. And for filmmakers, basically, most important thing, just keep learning. Keep learning. I mean, never think that you're there yet. Try to collaborate some more. Do not believe that you can do it alone.
Yeah.
It's fine to speak to people. It's fine to appreciate people's work. It's fine to post other people's work, even though it's not your own work. It's fine. Absolutely fine. And if you have opportunities to be on set, just be on set. Be on set. Get your hands on everything. Know a bit of everything. I mean, not just one thing. Know a bit of every single thing. Appreciate people that have been there before you. There's a reason why they've been there before you. They're going to always help out, come on for you once in a while. Like, for example, my own growth, for example, also skyrocketed with Kemi Adetiba. Kemi Adetiba has been a blessing. So there's so many things that have happened because of KOB that she's not even aware of. But because, it's a part of KOB. And Kemi Adetiba, gave me a shot then too. And that has really helped and paved the way. But at the same time, for that to happen, I was prepared. I was doing a lot of work. I've been doing monologues and stuffs even before competitions and the rest. So when competition came and I did that one too, it wasn't so much work because I had already done those work. So it's not, opportunity has to meet you prepared. You can't just come and say, "Oh, this is opportunity," and you're jumping into it and you've not been preparing for that opportunity. You're not going to come out looking good.
Right.
And both ways, filmmakers, actors, learn other languages. That's something I'm beating myself right now that I wish I had done when I was younger. I mean, I wish I could speak Igbo. I can only speak Yoruba, Pidgin, and English. I wish I could speak Igbo, Hausa, and the rest. French, Spanish. It's going to give you a whole lot of advantage. So yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
So how can investors or actors reach out to you for maybe collaborations or anything? Can you give us like your handle?
Yeah, my handle it's at It's JBlaze, ITS JBlaze.
Okay. Thank you so much, JBlaze, for coming through.
Yes, thank you very much.
So that was another exciting episode of The Creatives, the entertainment show that brings to you all the creatives and how they make the magic you see, hear, and feel. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a lot like I did. And of course, if you have any comments or questions, please contact us on our social media platforms at RadioNow 953 FM with hashtag The Creatives. So from me, Doris Okorie, and the entire Creatives team, we'll see you next week with another exciting guest. Ciao!